Okay, so I'm going to explain the overarching story behind Dark Souls in under 10 minutes. All information was taken from game, as well as a healthy dose was taken from the Dark Souls wiki. I didn't contribute to the wiki, but it's great. You should check it out. The link's in the description. I'm also going to try and avoid speculation. I'll include my speculation in a different video. Hope you enjoy. And remember, I'm only going to cover major themes, not minor ones, or else it'll take too long. Alright, so we'll begin. At the beginning, the world has rocks, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. The world changes with the onset of fire. No one knows how the fire started. I've got my thoughts, but again, I'll leave that to a different video. Either way, the fire brings life. Scattered in the flames are a variety of different souls. However, the two most important types of souls are the Lord Souls and the Dark Soul. The Lord Souls carry with them a great power that grants godlike ability to the vessel. Remember, the Lord Souls and the characters who possess them are very important. The first vessel to obtain a Lord Soul is Nito, bringer of death and disease. The Witch of Izalith and her Daughters of Chaos get the second Lord Soul. But the most powerful Lord Soul is granted to Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, who controls a vast army of Silver Knights. Now the Pygmy is the progenitor to man. All humans are descendants of the Pygmy, including your character. The Pygmy did not receive a Lord Soul, but instead received a Dark Soul. The Dark Soul is not imbued with great power like the Lord Souls, making this character easily forgotten. In fact, the Lord Souls are meant to rule the Age of Fire, while a Dark Soul is meant to rule the Dark Times, the age when fire ends. Your character in the end will choose whether to extend the Age of Fire or usher in the Dark Times. Along with the Lord Souls and the Dark Soul, many other beings come into existence, including primordial serpents and dragon knights, many of which are loyal to the Lord Souls and Gwyn especially. Gwyn, Nito, and the Witch of Izalith, all of who have the powerful Lord Souls, lead their followers into battle against the everlasting dragons. With their special abilities and help from a dragon called Seath the Scaleless, who has betrayed his brethren, they put an end to almost all the everlasting dragons. With most of the dragons vanquished, Gwyn, Lord of Sunlight, ushers in the Age of Fire and prosperity reigns. Gwyn has children who become deities for the most part. There's Guinevere, who marries the flame god Flynn. Gwyndolin, a boy raised as a girl because his powers are closely tied to the moon. And then there's always helpful Solaire. Now, it's not all good times because there was an attempt by some members on Nito, but it was thwarted, so no big deal. Back to the good times. To thank Seath the Scaleless for betraying his brothers, Gwyn gives him a piece of his Lord's soul and grants him the title of Duke. Seath spends much of his time researching ways to create new life and searching for the secret of immortality. Even though after he betrayed his brothers, he pillaged a crystal that gave him immortality. Seath also has a daughter, Priscilla the Half-Breed. The jury's still out on who the mom is, but most think it's Guinevere. Gwyn also gives a piece of his Lord's soul to the four kings of New Londo for their intelligence and foresight. So, to recap, Gwyn, Nito, the witch, Seath, and the four kings all have at least a piece of the Lord Soul, and the pygmy/humans hold the Dark Soul. Now things were going okay, but unfortunately the flame starts to die out. The Lord's souls are tied to the Age of Fire. If the flame goes out, then the powers die out as well. So the Witch of Izalith decides to use a soul to try and recreate the start of the Age of Fire. This ends up being a disaster and results in a bed of chaos. All the inhabitants of Izalith, including some of her daughters, are mutated into monsters. These monsters are the messed up beings that you encounter through the game as they spread and infect the realm. So Gwyn decides to sacrifice himself to reignite the flame, or else the Age of Fire is finished. Bad move. Gwyn fails and becomes a Lord of Cinder, as he is now tied to the flame. Things then start to get even worse. His nights change from grey to black, signifying the loss of Gwyn's Lord Soul. People start to phase in and out of existence as time gets distorted. Some deities sense the end and leave the kingdom. Some stay behind to aid Gwyn in preserving the flame. Kingseeker Framp is a primordial serpent and friend to Gwyn. He also wants to extend the Age of Fire. By the way, these primordial serpents are so ugly, I can't stand them. Anyhow, Darkstalker Kaith wants you to put an end to the Age of Fire. In fact, Darkstalker Kaith is the reason that the four kings fell, as he tempted them with a power they couldn't control. At this point, the flame is on its last ember. So this is where your character comes in. You start off at the asylum but escape. You link fires along your way to trick you into growing attached to the flame. Your character will eventually decide the fate of the flame, but all paths go through Gwyn, and Gwyn is locked away where the fire first arose. To get to Gwyn, you need to obtain the Lord Vessel. This vessel is guarded by two of Gwyn's trusted dragon slayers, Ornstein and Smough. Good luck. After that, Gwyn's daughter, Guinevere the Illusion, tries to persuade you into ending the twilight and rekindling the flame before giving you the Lord Vessel. No thanks. Once you have the Lord Vessel, you need the original Lord Souls, which are held by Nito, the witches in the Bed of Chaos, Seath the Scaleless, given by Gwyn, and the four kings, also given by Gwyn. Once you've filled the Lord Vessel with these souls, you finally gain access to where the first flame originated. Here you must defeat Lord Gwyn as he is attached to the flame. Once he's gone, you have a choice to make. You can choose to follow in Gwyn's footsteps, sacrifice yourself and reignite the flame for a short time and extend the Age of Fire. Or you can elevate man and let the old gods die out. Thanks for watching and hope you sub. But seriously, those serpents are so disgusting.